What is up, YouTube? It is Ghost Jace. I hope all is well on your end. Happy Monday, and welcome back to Planet Coaster as part of our Planet Coaster Mondays. Today's episode is the log flume ride, which we are going to be naming Voodoo Falls. And the whole reason behind that is this log flume is going to have a Louisiana Bayou theme into it. As you are swimming around your log, through the lower portion, you're going to encounter a lot of dead swamp trees, as well as some crocodiles. Even though that's what they're named in the game file, in the bayou you encounter alligators. And so I really wanted to have like a theme based around this log flume ride, and most of them is all based on the wood and the nature around it. And I thought this would be a really good theme of the Louisiana Bayou. Mostly, this is inspired by the first scene of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland, where you are swimming through the Blue Bayou before you enter the Pirates section. But as you can see right now, we are trying to map out the best route for the lower section before heading up to the upper section, which is going to be just basic bear, not like the animal bear, but nothing really to it. There's a whole lot of scenery when you are in the lower section, but then when you go up, you're just cruising around the skies of Sunville as you are just taking in the views. And I gotta say, you do really get some really good views when you're up there, right around here. And I will say, though, mapping this out was kind of tricky, but you do get around it. You always find answers to problems. I had to move that bathroom like 3 or 4 times before getting the right positioning, because this took up a lot of real estate. Now, I originally wanted the upper part of the log flume to wrap around the lift hill, but I just didn't like it like that, so what I've ultimately do it is make it like a little snake path of going zigzag around, take a right turn, take a left turn, and then already heading down the flume section, or the drop, whatever you call it. I'm not really a person that understands how the log flumes really work. As a matter of fact, water rides like Splash Mountain, they're probably like my least favorite type of attractions to deal with, because I don't want to get wet on the rides. Like, I can handle Pirates of the Caribbean because it's just that tiny little drop, but when it comes to water rides, I just can't deal with them. I do not want to get wet at a theme park. I rather go to a water park if I want to get wet, and I don't even like going to water parks these days. Rather just swim at a pool or a hot tub. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself as we are working on the log flume. And this is a little bit of a longer episode because the theming was way too much and it took a lot to route the log flume just right. It was really difficult to get the log flume how I want it to be, because it doesn't really let you auto-complete. I know that's weird to say, but the log flume is very difficult to auto-complete, especially when it comes to this drop here, where we have this giant trough for the water. I wanted to make like a 90-degree turn and then a straightaway and then a 90-degree turn back into the station once you leave that trough where the drop is. But I was having a very difficult time lining up the track on how I wanted it to be, and I would make changes on the turns and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I managed to find something that I really did like, and I didn't know if this trough would be really big enough, but it ultimately worked. Again, not a lot of knowledge on the log flumes, and I didn't really have much knowledge when it came to the amusement park standard, but at the end of the day, I'm creating a product that it's mine, and I really do like it. Here I go again, testing out the drop once again. And I'm ultimately working on this curve session when you get out of the station. I originally wanted that track to be straight, but I do end up taking a sort of a left turn, just so it would dip down to the ground. Also, when I was thinking about how I wanted the log flume to be, I knew I wanted it to go into the ground, so you will see me in minutes just try to use the terrain tool to dig down so that the ride track would not be peeking into the ground. And right now I'm just trying to lay down the track the best way I could. Decided to get rid of the station real quick and make it. And yeah, like I said earlier, it's going to be a Louisiana Bayou themed log flume, and what I've ultimately went with is, you'll see, maybe you've seen it peeked out in the corner, but I did have the marquee of the attraction ready to go. I did that offline, and I was watching a video of a park spotlight that gave me the inspiration for the marquee of the attraction, but it's just two big billboards. One of them says Voodoo, the other one says Falls, and in the middle is a sugar skull that was from the World's Fair pack, and I made it look like it was evil. I had red eyes, and then I put on a little top hat, kind of like Dr. Facilier would wear in The Princess and the Frog. And here I go again, working on the first part, working on that tiny little drop onto the ground as much as possible. The angle snap did not really do me justice here. I had to completely improvise that little drop there. And also the measuring tool is really weird. Like, you can't make like little, I don't even know how many meters this is, but it's not like 4 foot meter or whatever. It's a very long way. So I decided that having a little turn there would be nice. And we connected the bottom portion of the track. And now I'm trying my best to get like a nice little flow above the top. I think what I have originally is a little bit too long and drawn out, but it'll work for it right now. And you'll see in the final POV of the final track layout and its purpose. Also, guys, I am looking for name suggestions. Once again, if you have any name suggestions, or you want to voice your opinions of what I want, what you guys want to see, feel free to leave them down in the comment section down below. I'm looking for name suggestions for the mock launch coaster. It's going to be around the same presence as like Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, where it doesn't really have that much of a theme, just like a really good name to it. Like, it's the park's newest attraction, so I would need that sort of name coming on in. In the next episode, I'm actually going to be working on that Gerstlauer Infinity Dive Coaster that you see on the left-hand side. And I'm actually kind of ahead right now as I'm doing this recording, this voiceover. So I am ahead of that, and I'll make sure that it's ready to go on the next Planet Coaster Monday. And as you can see right now, I'm kind of doing this zigzag pattern with the log flume right now. I mean, I liked it back then, but I'm not really liking it right now. Maybe I'll change it up in the future, maybe when I do the final touches of the attraction. And I'm moving the bathroom once again. I need a bathroom over there. It's near the barbecue place. It's going to be near Voodoo Falls, and it's going to be near the Infinity. So it was well needed. And we're testing out the boats and making sure everything is going okay. Decided to change the supports to a brown, kind of make it look like a tree trunk, and I kind of like it like that. All right, guys, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes of non-talking time-lapse builds, and I'll be back in just a matter of minutes. Alright, now you just spent the last few minutes of not me talking, and now I am back building the station, putting up the walls, and now coming in with the roof. And what I thought for this building, it was supposed to be like this rundown shack that was just left in the bayou. So we're adding the roofing right now, and then I'm gonna put in some overgrown plants around it, some wall climbers, some vines. Just give this building some character, you know? Theme the station. You gotta at least theme the station, right? Adding the roof right now onto the building. And I don't know if I put it in this video or not, but I did put some theming inside around the station as well, like some cargo and also like a little fortune tellers area, because I ultimately wanted this building to be being around a witch doctor that lives here, or this is like his like secret lair or whatever, his secret bayou lair. Now here we go, trying to add like the best wall climbers to the building. Ultimately decided to go for this one. The angle snap kind of went into the roof, so I had to adjust that accordingly. And I liked how it looked so far. It looked out really good. I will say though, I was having the one problem I did have with the wall climbers was the roof, because I didn't know how to make it look more organic. Let's put it into the best terms. I didn't know how to make it look more organic, especially in this area where I decided to put a wall climber up on there. It just did not look well, especially with angle snap. So we ultimately disregard that and move with these tinier wall climbers. Thought that this version would be best if it was dangling near the windows, adding some more extras to it, and ultimately like camouflaging this whole area into these wall climber vines on the walls, and then eventually the roof. Found this piece, thought it would work well as well. Adding the, what is this? It was supposed to be like thorns or rose climbers or whatever. I don't even remember. It's been so long. Yeah, there you go. And I will say though, when I was off, you noticed me building that pond over there, right around the end of the giant trough. I ultimately decided that that was going to be like a makeshift pond where extra water spills into that area. And also in that little pond area, I put in a crocodile animatronic that bobbed up and down. I'm not going to call it crocodiles, I'm going to call it alligators. We're in the Louisiana bayous, we're going to call it alligators. There are no crocodiles here. Adding more wall climbers, and also we're going to add alligators throughout the ground section of the ride, as well as some dead swamp trees. Make this area come a little bit more alive. Like this amusement park decided to, they had a little bit extra money, so they went a little bit more crazy on the theming, as not common in like a regular amusement park. But you know what? This is my amusement park. Do whatever I want. I have unlimited funds. Adding some wall climbers onto the roof as well, making that look pretty. And right now, guys, I'm kind of doing my best to make more Planet Coaster videos. Not like upload more than once a week on Planet Coaster, but getting more, what's the word? More on schedule and more ahead of schedule as well. You know, I got these ideas in my head and I want to make sure that they're in the park as quickly as possible. So luckily I do have the time to make as much progress as I can in a weekend. Like I finished recording the Gerstlauer Infinity and I'm gonna have that voiceover done in a matter of days, probably right before this video comes out. And that's where we are right now. I do have a name for the Gerstlauer Infinity as well, but there's like two major projects that I want to work on in order to say that the park is majorly complete, and it's all going to be down to the tiniest of details. Like for example, there's like this big area that's like in the middle, and it's directly opposite towards the sun wheel. That's where I'm going to have my interactive shooting dark ride. but I might as well just spoil what I have going on for that area as well. Besides having the interactive shooting dark ride, it's going to be a multi-level area where the second level will feature the shooting dark ride, and then the lower level, or the main floor, will feature the main gift shop and 2 restaurants, as well as access to a staff building. So that's where I'm at right now, because I do want to add a ice cream shop as well as a chicken restaurant. We don't have that yet, so it's gonna be like building to building tile show building, so that the second floor can take up the entirety of the interactive shooting dark ride, as well as the marquee of the dark ride will probably have a theater style entrance. Like, they'll have a marquee like you would see typically in small town community movie theaters, and a feature now playing the name of the dark ride. And that dark ride is going to be, I think, will be themed to outer space. So I'm still working on the story of that. I want that to have a little bit of a light story. Maybe I'll think of something where it's like themed to the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin rides you see at Disneyland or Magic Kingdom at Disney World. So that's where I'm at right now. Now here we come again with the landscaping, and I did not notice this until like a few minutes later, but the majority of the landscaping is attached to the building, which I did not notice. So if you guys do end up downloading this park and you want to get rid of my Voodoo Falls, just note that most of the trees will probably be gone as well if you get rid of my show building. Here come the alligators. And I'm trying to figure out if I want the larger one or the smaller one. I thought the smaller one would probably be best. Yeah, like that. Some will hiss at you, some will bite at you. I thought about having the swimming ones, but I went with the one that just rose up into the lake. And I think on the in the trough, I use the one that goes up and attacks you as you head on down. You can't really see it in the POV, but I could just imagine that like you're in the ground floor watching the logs go by, and then all of a sudden here comes an alligator coming up to swoop up and bite you. Other than that, it's just like light theming all around. I also added some music off camera because I didn't want the POV to have the cue music blasting around just yet in that POV. Maybe I'll plan on doing a final POV on the final episode of the Sunville series, but as of right now, let's focus on the queue. And the queue gate and the exit gate. Wanted to add the grid section, but it won't let me, so just end up doing a switchback, a small switchback right around the building as you get one good look at the falls. I did what I would consider a cattle pen around that area. Thought it looked nice, because I think like log flumes are like one of the more popular attractions on Planet Coaster. Like the peeps will rush for log flumes, they'll rush for the interactive shooting dark ride, so gotta be prepared for those cattle pins and switchbacks. Try to adjust the switchbacks because that pillar would not move. And you made a switchback that works. And now we attach the queue to the sidewalk, and everything looks great. And trying to make it as straight as possible, but the game wouldn't let me until I found the right spot, like right there. Perfect. There was a look at that sign. I had to steal that from when I saw a park spotlight of someone doing the exact a Bayou themed water park for Planet Coaster Console Edition. But you know what? Inspiration comes in so many different ways. Decided to add a queue covering in this area, and then I also added one for the cattle pin like switchback later on. use the posts to support it, and then you raise up, expose all the wood pieces, all the holding pieces as well. And we are making this a little bit bigger. Moving the post. And there is a completed queue covering. Well, one of the queue coverings, I will say. We add in another queue covering in just a second. Grab the building. Move the tree. Grab the building. And we duplicate it. Move it real quick. Make sure everything is aligned. Remove that tree. Or move it, rather. We add a second queue covering. Remove as much as possible. And we take that section and then we push it all the way to the end. There you go, queue covering, so you don't get sunburned as much. It is a very nice queue nonetheless, just very simple, and we do add some speakers into the coverings, and it's Planet Bluegrass. I couldn't find like any jazzy like music that was not in the Planet Coaster game, and I did not feel like going online finding some non-copyrighted Louisiana jazz style music, adding a trigger so that the alligator can jump at the guests. And again, you can't see it in the POV with the water splashing, but for those that are looking by the walkway, we'll be able to see the alligator jump. And here it's all about timing, making sure that the alligator jumps at the right time. Just a little bit closer every single time. Love that little design. I can imagine like an actual amusement park using something like this, but you know what? That's what this amusement park is here for. Decided to add I wanted to add like an exposed pipe that was spewing out water, like it's extra water from the pond and entering this makeshift pond that holds extra water. And there's not a lot of options for pipes. I did have some Theme Maker Toolkit pipes, but they're the Super Mario pipes, and they are just way too big. Which I'm hoping if I ever build a studio park, I would make use of those pipes. But here we go, adding a regular size pipe. Just like that. It adds a little bit more realism to it. And I'd rather have just a little bit of realism than not a lot of realism. There's not going to be too much realism again, and I thought about adding transfer tracks to attractions, but I just didn't really want to put in that much effort into it, so there's not going to be transfer tracks in this park. So, as much as I love the realism that other creators do put in, it's not really my style. I'd rather go for the theming, honestly. Kind of like how I am in Minecraft. I'd rather be in creative than go in survival. And we are adding some wooden stake fences to the pond. Alright guys, I'm going to give y'all another few minutes, maybe around 10 minutes or so, of me just adding some more themes to the area, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed me building Voodoo Falls. In the next episode, we're going to be focused on the Gerstlauer Infinity Dive Coaster, just so I can say that the right side of the park is 90% complete. There'll be like smaller projects that I will be doing around the area. Make sure to check me out next Monday for Planet Coaster Monday at Sunville Amusement Park. If you guys like what you see, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe down below. And if you are a regular and you're not subscribed, you might as well hit the subscribe button anyway. You're coming back on the regular. If you guys want to catch me live on Twitch, the first link is in the description. Go check me out on my Twitch where we play live games like Dead by Daylight, Overwatch, Splatoon 3, some really good stuff over there. I'm mainly going to be keeping Planet Coaster a YouTube series. And again, if you guys have name suggestions for the rides or some ideas you want to see in the amusement park, we're running out of space, but feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Hope I'll see you all next Monday, and until then, I am out of here.